Alfonso.
Welcome with excellency and thanks for the closer. You thank you very much. Can we all please have our seats? Thank you. And for those of us who are seated at the door, or we'll see that there are many more seats, we can also use the seats that are in the back, to the left of me.
Wave to that, thank you. Smile for that, wave to that. There you go. Larry on top.
For those of us who may need seats, we are very well. We have a lot of seats for those of us who are standing in the back and may need to be seated. Can we please, join the rest of the audience from the back, and we can sit anywhere of preference in the back of us. The back of the room has more seats. So again, to the right of us.
We have our seats now. Nice.
And at this time, with no further ado, I'd like to welcome my dear brother and friend Yonton to please, for the first part of the program, he will be taking over from us. And let's hear a rousing welcome again to everyone, a hand clap. And as a big family, we appreciate you coming. My dear brother Yonton, thank you.
Can we all have our seats? Can we all have our seats? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to formally call this very special town hall meeting to a start. This town hall meeting has been organized by the Coordinating Committee on JMB's current visit to the United States, which has been headed by Liberia's foremost political commentator and chairman of the Council of Patriots, Mr. Henry Costa. Along with all members of the committee. As we call this official town hall meeting to start, I'd also like to introduce a very important person, a sister and a gladiator, who is also going to co-host with me tonight, Miss Margaret Bonner. Please come up. Before turning the microphone over to Margaret Bonner, I'd just like us to reflect on the words of Dr. Martin Luther King when he said that one of the great tragedies of history is that far too many people forget and fail to remain awake during times of social change. As we gather here tonight, looking at some of the conditions and happenings in our country, looking at the fight that we have, lack of leadership and incompetence.
Killing people. The fact that public money belongs to the public, and you take it and put it to your own use, that's impunity. The resources of the country, the children, no good schools, future leaders, our neighborhood. All we talk about independence, we celebrate age, no development. We are 174 years old, 175 years old. We need a change in our country. And this change, we have tried all. I mean, soldier, army, president, woman, youth. That's not a question. That's not the answer. It's honest leadership, committed to the country. You have to do with the individual to live in the country and is willing to go all the way to make sure that we can raise our country again, put a system in place so that the younger generation can take it and build on it. If you don't do that, I'm sorry. Thank you. I rest my case for a while.
Thank you, His Excellency, our former Vice President, the people of Liberia seated here, watching by cyber radio. They're so happy to hear from you today. Wow. Serious farmer collaborative. I want to be a member. I don't know who else wants, but I want to be a member. Serious farmer, not just for the photo op, but serious farmers. You know, there are some people will say things and people say, well, wonder if it's true. But Mimi don't lie, and the old man has rescued me. I told you he's particularly passionate about rural women. And he told you his experience with some rural women recently. I haven't heard of that term for many years, for at least the last 4 years. I have not heard about the rural women. How are they doing in Bomi, in Nimba, in Zedru? And he's passionate about rural women. And for that, we are grateful. And also, he proves to me that, you know, he has his distinguished friend, Mr. Snyder, Charles Snyder, with him, who has joined it from Liberia. He proves to me that he's not a liar. You know, he told us the last time in an informal setting that the old man went to see CWA, came from Foya, but nobody recognized that because he was so cool. He even beat Rachel Hendricks as president of CWA. I believe it because I saw the old man throwing some jobs about the second page. I saw the old man talking about the barrow and all of that. I believe Mr. Snyder, the woman, was indeed cool. So before we go forward, I would like to say that there is a silver Mercedes and a black BMW parked in front of the former Vice President car. Is against protocol, hence we are here to protocol. We will be forced to ask that car out by towing it. So if that car belongs to you, please clear the way around the VIP. Thank you. At this time, we will be opening up for membership new membership of one of the most structured, one of the oldest Liberian political institutions. Not when it was a one-party system, but when there was an agreement or an allowance of multiplicity of political institutions. We saw parties like the Unity Party being founded. Today, with its most senior partisan in the House, is aspirant for presidency. I believe there are some people who are moved to become members today. And therefore, we would like to call on the Honorable Chairman of the Unity Party in Philadelphia, Chairman Jala, to come and lead that honorable call for new membership. May you give the chairman a round of applause. Let me tell you, the chairman, whether it's 3 people who join today, or 4 people who become new members today, someone who is a novice to Liberian politics and politics in general, in a embryonic stage of political workings, we say only 4 people join. 4 people joining, according to the National Election Commission, they say 1 man get 1 vote. But as a politician, I know that 1 man does not have 1 vote, because I have a multitude of people that I can influence to vote. So look beyond the number of people that will be giving their support to the former Vice President today. Mr. Chairman, call on those.
Good evening. Thank you so much for coming and welcome to this very unique program. Not much to say. I would like to call upon the new membership and also my NSC that are with me here for them to participate with me in this program. And thank you. I would like to recognize the Honorable First Vice Chair, Honorable Erasmus Williams. He's going to be on the stage with me. Honorable Erasmus Williams, may you please join me. Philip Bala is here with me. We have Emmanuel Tamba, Brother Emmanuel Tamba, Policy Emmanuel Tamba. And
give it up for the new member. Give it up for the new member.
We also have with us here Brother David City. Okay. Now I would like to recognize our national chair, Honorable Capet Doyen. Honorable Doyen, please join the stage. And I would like to recognize all NEC members that are here to please join us. So please join us on the stage, please. All NEC members. And I would also like to recognize the Vice Chair, Honorable James Rogers. Honorable James Rogers. Honorable James Rogers, you cannot be here and then do the work that you're supposed to do. Is that okay? Yes, okay.
Hello? Well, sorry. This will be, in the next 5 minutes, it will be over. It is we have people who were inspired by His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai, and they have decided to join the Unity Party. They decided to join Joseph Boakai campaign team. Please give it up for them, please. And as part of this, they wanted people to know that they are making this declaration. And that is why we are doing this in a very special way. Okay? And anybody here right now who want to join and be part of history, going to 2023, you are free to walk up now and be part of the campaign of His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai.
What's up, bro?
The stage is open. We're about to go. Please come if you want to come. You are now on to rest. Please give it up for them, people. The revolution is on. The revolution is on. The time is now. The time is now.
Now, come on.
Joseph Boakai campaign 2023. Give it up for the people. The time is now. Join the ship. Join the ship. Strengthen Liberia. Take Liberia. Love Liberia. Build Liberia. And now, this is going to be very quick. As we take our seat, you are going to, you're not going to do it. There was a voluntary exercise. And His Excellency is about to receive you. He will receive you into his campaign, into the Unity Party, as we build the momentum for 2023. Okay? And the process goes like this. When he comes, he will ask you to raise your right hand, and you will make some commitment to join the Unity Party and to help Team Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. Okay? 1 minute. Okay, everybody, please, hold on. His Excellency is here. Going to wait a little bit. Please put your right hand up. Please put your right hand up. And you repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will uphold, protect, defend the Unity Party Constitution and the campaign of the Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai from 2023. So help me God. Sing Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia. You may have the seat, and you're going to retire, and then we'll take it from there.
So I want to welcome all of you in the interest of our country. Your country is your country. No matter how small, there's only you can do it. Let's build, let's restore dignity to our country. Let's build it for future generations. Thank you, God bless you, and welcome.
All right, please have the seat. Everybody, please have the seat. When you're going out, the secretary will be at the door. Please go ahead and complete the platform. Thank you.
Let us go to the door.
Please have your seat. Please have your seat. Please have your seat. Retire the VIP, please. Retire the VIP, please. Please have your seat. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay, we're back to order our business. Thank you. Security, please take control. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We'll do this after. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Please have your seat. Thank you. Please have your seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the town hall and we are about to call the town hall to session. We are about to start the town hall. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your seat. One of the moderators is a brother, a friend, a comrade, a guy you all well know, especially those from the United Party. He's a moderate progressive, a husband, a father, a veteran comrade, a man with a very admirable temperament. I would like you to exercise patience and call this gentleman.
Listen, excuse me, everyone. I think we need to, we're getting to the serious part. Can we please have your attention? Can all of us please have our seats? My dear sister is here. She's trying to talk to us, and she's talking over many voices. Can we please begin by having our seats? Excellent. I have the honor to give her the mic back. My sister, you wouldn't have to raise your voice.
Thank you. So I would like to call on one of our moderators in the person of Stephen Johnson III. And I will now turn the mic over to Brother Yonton, who will call on the second distinguished gentleman.
Yeah, have a seat, Stephen. So our second moderator is no other person but Mr. D. Wilson. He's one of those who have been in the Liberian community for the past 30, 40 years. He has worked progressively and extensively with Liberians of all walks of life. He has a rich history, both professionally and socially, and we are honored to having the team up with Mr. Stephen Johnson. Mr. Wilson, please welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we call a very familiar voice, a man who has been pushing the agenda of not just the Unity Party, but this candidate in particular, a strong voice, a pen pusher, in the person of D. George Lobo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good evening, my fellow Liberians, members of the CPB here present, members of the Unity Party here present. As the lead moderator tonight, there's no time to waste. So I know many of you travel from far and are eager to hear from our standard bearer, the CPB chairman, the political leader of the Unity Party. You've listened to him already. What we are going to do now is an opportunity. All the questions you have been asking me on Spoon, on the Liberian Public Radio, on Focus on Liberia, SKTV. Today, you will have the opportunity to ask him right there. I'm the messenger, but again, as the lead moderator, we got questions that were emailed to us. Some Liberians could not be here, so you have Stephen Johnson and myself who will read out some of those questions that the former Vice President will answer. But before we get started, I want to say a few things and lay the ground rules. We don't expect all Liberians to vote for him. We don't expect all Liberians to belong to one political party if we want multi-party system. So that means we know there are people who are here from different parties, different backgrounds, for whatever reason. But we ask for one thing. You heard the former Vice President. We must think Liberia. This is our former Vice President, former Minister of Agriculture, former LPMC Managing Director, former LPRC Managing Director. You don't move up the chain by being dishonest, by being impatient, by being intolerant of people. So please, as we've assembled here tonight, we want all of you to have that in mind when you come up to ask your question. Whatever spirit you keep in here with, I'm glad we are in the church and we know that the presence of the Holy Spirit is here. So hopefully you leave your other spirit aside. Because I've been very clear, we are capable and able to respond using the Newton-Taylor law of motion. Which means to every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. So today I want us to be friendly, I want us to be civil, and I want us to ask questions so that other Liberians who are on the fence, who are thinking, who are considering, will now have an opportunity to say, you know what, I have decided. So please, we'll allot 30 seconds for your questions because we want to give opportunity to so many of you to ask a question. So with no time to waste, I would like to say to all of you, can you please rise up on your feet as we call to the stage the former Vice President, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Nyuma Boakai, to take his seat where he will be asked questions. Thank you. You may now have your seat. Let me say thanks to our two MCs. You guys did a wonderful job. To my sister, I don't know if you're campaigning for political office, but I think you're getting ready, Babu. My good friend, they don't follow him, he already got something to do. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say again, thanks to all of you. Let the question and answer begin. It will be done in two fronts. The question that we receive, the good thing they are not that many. We will ask few of them, and then we'll turn it over to you guys to ask, and then we'll ask our other questions, and then you guys will ask again. And that's how we'll have it. There will be a mic over there. When the time is ready, stay in line and ask your question. So we'll get started right now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me just begin by breaking the ice. I guess, Your Excellency, when you've been in Philadelphia for over 31 years, you can sometimes say you have the deed in your hand. Quite honestly, I want to say that we've had several other folks with ambitions in Philadelphia coming to visit Philadelphia. Out of the 50 states, Philadelphia has been a tough place. Am I right? For all of us who live in Philly, right? Okay, great. Remember, I want to say to you first time coming through the front door. A lot of people have come through the back door. They haven't had our permission. And I just wanted to make that point that the Honorable Joseph Nyuma Boakai has been the first one. We've had many other visitors, but he's been the first one we are welcoming in the front door. I'm saying a lot, but I'm saying it to say that you're most welcome. And being a long-time resident, George, and my brother, I wanted to make that comment. You are home in Philadelphia. Thank you. Thank you.
So we will go straight into business. Let me first say it's good to be here in Philadelphia, city of brother-in-law. It's always a pleasure to welcome the former Vice President and we begin this section. So I'll go first with the first question. So we, as George initiated first, we received some questions from online, and we thought that we'll ask them, and then we'll open the floor to allow the audience to ask questions. So this question is more on the economy and the current state of affairs of the country. It says Liberia is in a serious crisis. What are your plans to get the country back on track? And what are your vision in terms of working with our foreign partners?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Moderator. The Liberian economy, the first thing is taking office is we must make sure that we know where we're starting by conducting an audit. I want to make sure we know what's there. It is my belief that the revenue of our country is understated, very much so. That's why we are stagnant at the figures. We want to know what is there, and we know very well that there there are sources that are not been revealed, that the public doesn't know of. And then also, we know that Liberia, about 70 to 80% of the country are farmers. And we did that, we know it. We know that farming has prospered our people before. That is where the job can be created for the young people, for our people of country. Processing. When you have coffee and all you do really is export it, you don't create jobs. You create jobs for the lives. We have to make sure that we create jobs for the young people. And I believe there's an icing on the cake that I've always been thinking about. For quick employment, our country is poised for tourism. The hospitality industry can begin to create, can begin to bring foreign exchange, can create cottage industry, small people making things. Those are the ones that will create jobs immediately, agriculture, tourism, and that's where we should start immediately. There's no reason for people going to other countries like Liberia has all it has to create industry in tourism. They have all these game reserves, all of these forest reserves. Liberia still has almost 3/4 of the West African forest. We have a lot to gain from that. So I think we know where the economy is, finding out where these people that are there are living, like audit them thoroughly, to show that we know how we stand and we know how to bear. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Mr. Vice President, many young people are out of job. Many have been looking for jobs, but there are no jobs in the country. How do you plan to address this issue, and what are some of your programs you intend to embark on to create jobs for those young people?
You won't believe it, but most of the young people that are unemployed, live without job, have skills. I have been working with some young people. There's a young man who is building a factory. He collects, and I have him to collect plastic bottles to make fuel and gas. You went to my office, some of you will see that. There are young people who are collecting plastic to make sheets for roofing. What they need is to be empowered. We talk about empowering Liberians, but we see everything in the country. I don't believe in saying I'm a Liberian, but all the houses belong to foreigners, all the industry belong to foreigners. What makes you Liberian? The young people there are looking for jobs. They need that agriculture, they need that tourism, and we need to open opportunities for them to acquire skills, jobs that other people will be coming to do. They take them from there in construction, in multiple ways. So I believe the young people in the street there, we can begin to move them by giving them quick interact skills, like helping them to acquire. Some of them are already trained. What they are waiting for to be given opportunity. And I think agriculture, tourism, those can create immediate employment.
Thank you. There's one key area in terms of national development that has hindered Liberia's program, that's the issue of corruption. What are your plans to fight corruption?
Well, corruption I'm not saying it like many have said it before. I believe that the biggest impediment to our development is corruption. And not just corruption, with impunity. People believe that John Brown, you go to Liberia, people who work, they have to show within a period of time where they got all this money to build all that they have, with all the responsibility that they have. Corruption cannot be compromised in any way. I don't care who. We have to deal with it because that's what created our economy. That is what depriving our people, and we must deal with that effectively.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So take that. We will go to the public for now, and our co-moderator will lead that effort. As we see many people now, we want to give them the chance. So there's a line, please don't raise your hand. There's a line that has been formed, and we want to follow the procedure. So just follow the line.
And again, as we mentioned, we will have about 30 seconds to ask, and then we will get a response. Thank you. Your name and your question, please. Let's just have a little bit of attention in the back. Excuse me, gentlemen. Excuse me. We all want to hear. Yeah, let's just keep our voices so we hear everyone. Thank you very much. Madam, go ahead, please. Your name and your question.
Papa, this is Mona, Mrs. Mona Abed Barrett, your head of the ECOWAS Women in Liberia. I have a question for you. What are you going to do, or what is your position with Alexander B. Cummings? Are you still going to go ahead with him, or are you going to stay away from him? Thank you.
One more question. You will take two and then you answer them together.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. My name is Roland Perry. I'm a journalist from Liberia. I reside in the U.S. I'd like to ask you this question, Honorable Vice President. Where do you intend to get your funding? Because you are on record of saying that you basically run your programs based on loans that you acquire from banks and other institutions. Where do you intend to get your funding to run your campaign? Because nowadays people think that in Liberia, to win election is basically you have to have money and other resources. Where do you intend to get your funding to run your campaign? And my second question is that the world is facing financial crisis. All the countries are focused on their population and their development. How do you intend to convince the world to focus on Liberia with this kind of a situation we have around the world, the pandemic and all the other global issues? How do you intend to convince the world to look at Liberia to make it a success story? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, talking about Alexander Cummings, when we came together with a single objective of being mouthpiece for the Liberians. Well, as we all can understand, people will come together, traveling, all stay together. But Alexander Cummings, all of us are working together, and you've been following the news. The matter that is before us is simple. We are collaborating. We're not in opposition. So everything that we do should be among ourselves. And I have come to the leadership to make sure that we can understand what brought us together and pray that keeps us together in the interest of the Liberians. The Liberians have demonstrated that they support the CPP. they did so by us winning all of the big counties, except for Nimba. Of course, we know why we didn't win Nimba. So, Mr. Collins, and not just commit, all of us have to recommit ourselves to work together. Of course, we decided that to get together, to select the leadership, you do it through consensus building, through the VPS, or through the primaries. We have to exhaust all of those methods to come up with leadership. And I hope Mr. Cummings, who has been a friend of mine, schoolmate of mine, and who knows very well that we all, not one day we have raised our voice against him, will see the wisdom for us to work together.
Thank you, Excellency.
The second one is funny. Let me tell you, Liberia is changing. Liberians, I have had young people come. They contribute. They contribute to the campaign. So it's not just money. They know the integrity of the person who's running. They know they have the confidence in the person. So they see the need. You know, because they have come to the point where they know that they need their country. And because of that, money is going to be spent on logistics, but we believe that the trust in the individual can make a big difference. So I talk again about the international people. Don't believe that international people are not interested in Liberia. It's not true. The difficulty they have in entering, before you get there, all of the squeezing and thing, people lose interest. We can mobilize. Let me tell you, after here, I'm going to Arizona, there are container loads of medical supplies. There are people who still have interest in Liberia. You know very well Liberia has built a good way in the past. People are still concerned. I can tell you, in the first year, you will see investors flooding into Liberia.
So as we are heating up the questions, unlike the previous question, we will limit to one question, 30 seconds, because we have to get everyone in, not on the back line, but as many as we can. So it's for 30 seconds, and then the ambassador will respond to the next two questions. Thank you. Your name and your question.
Hi, Honorable VP Worker. My name is Cecilia Pierpont. I'm an aspirant representative for District 17, Moderator County 2023. I come as a single individual, but I got a lot of people behind me. And my question to you is, why should I vote for you? And if you do win, can you promise me universal health care for all Liberians to have access, because our resources should be enjoyed by everybody? Thank you.
Very short, to the point, my dear brother, coming up, your name and your question, please.
My name is Mario, former Vice President Joseph Boakai. My question to you is, why should Liberians trust you to lead? And if entrusted by the Liberian people with the highest seat of the land, the presidency, what will you do as president in the first 100 days for young people?
Thank you very much. The ambassador will help us with the response to those two questions, 2/3.
The first question about the health care delivery service. You know very well that a society that is not healthy cannot be productive. We spend a lot of money going to other countries to see medical facilities. And most of these problems are also because of the infrastructure. There are no roads. And then also, not that you don't have trained people, the availability of vesting. That's why I told you the goodwill is out there. The last time I was in the United States, I signed 9 MOUs in Arizona. He's aware of that. We are going to get, the people are willing to help. But when you come to help, and the first thing they ask you is, what in there for me? Then you're not there to help. People are not willing. Liberians will have to be provided adequate medical facility. The first thing in our country is sanitation. Some of you know very well when you're growing up, there were sanitary inspectors going in the yard. As a developing country, we may not be advanced in curative medicine, but we can enforce sanitation to keep our people healthy. That's the first place to start. Then, you go in the hospitals, I'm telling you, the rats, the filth, the mosquitoes, the Minister of Health is supposed to enforce that. Those things are not happening. I've been to hospital, and you there to people the right. So our healthcare delivery service needs serious attention. And there are people who are willing to work with us, but you need a will of the government to do so. And that's what we're going to make sure we have. That we train doctors, we have trained doctors. For example, one time I went to Morocco and I met 2 young people. They had graduated from the medical college. They couldn't come home. I came home and lobbied for them. One of them is the only neurosurgeon in Liberia now. The only neurosurgeon. He can work in Liberia. And we have to make sure you work, because if you don't have good medical facilities, your citizens are not going to be well. They're not going to be able to produce. So I can assure you that those things will be our priorities. On time of why should you vote for me? I'm telling you, all the candidates you will look at, I'm the most experienced. And not only that I'm experienced, I come with honesty and credentials. I come with concern for Liberia. And that's why I got it one night without anybody telling me. And I made a Christmas card and said, Liberia, that was 2015, it's 168 years old. Let's ask ourselves, are we where we should be? Are we satisfied with where we are? From now on, think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia. I come with a passion for my country. I would have, with all of the difficulties I went through, I would have just retired and said, but I can tell you, we will not leave it until our country is transformed.
Thank you. The next question.
We'll try to do this much faster, so we will just you'll take the microphone. I will have it while you ask a question.
My name is Maurice Kasama, Ambassador Boakai. Thank you for coming. According to our constitution, the cabinet ministers work at the will and pleasure of the president. Under President Boakai leadership, how can you assure the Liberian people that the ministers, the directors, the police directors, every other appointees will work to please the people rather than just please the president? Thank you very much.
Great question. The next question, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. My question has to do with the human resource data of our country. I want to know exactly, like the letter of Chancellor came from GSA and sent that to the president. But I said came from finance and sent that to the presidency. George Weah came from technical director, LFA, from senator, and then became president. We still not getting the result. What do you think we should still hire internally, not to hire somebody externally?
Good question.
Thank you. He will address those questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell one more.
I'll take another one. Your name and your question, please.
Hello, Mr. Vice President.
My question has to do with security. Recently I was shaken to the core, not to diminish any life, but the fact that prominent citizens have been murdered in their homes of all places where you should find sanctuary. It's so, I'm shaking. My wife and I have left Liberia for roughly 2 decades. And since we came over here, we've been working hard. We have businesses back home. With the meager resources we earn, we hire up to 15 persons. We pay on a monthly basis, whether we make money or not. I talked to my wife, I said, well, you know the kind of job I do, I can just uproot and go to Liberia. So you have to go and proxy for me, go work as a team. And she was so excited, yes, I'm going to go expand. Yes, please, I'm not laying the premise. So when I talked to my wife, she said, yes, I will go. And then a day after, all on the social media, we started seeing horrific photos of prominent people being murdered. We just built our home. And my wife said, I cannot go to that home. There's no way I can go there. God is secure. So that's a setback for us. What do you envision? I know there's no absolute security, but what can you promise us to serve as a guarantee, to give us some level of hope that we can go back home and contribute? Some of us don't want any government job.
Thank you.
Good question. Good question.
Great question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother.
One of the things I said in one of the interviews that I'm serious about, the first, I think, 100 days, we have to make sure that the top government is audited. Yes. And we have to make sure that those who are appointed ministers, for the first 6 months, they will go up country and see the condition of the country. Because there's no reason for you to travel What are you going to tell the people when you don't know what is at home? That's what we do normally. As soon as we get a job, we take our bag and travel. And I want to make sure that every county will have a minister. Every county. So that they can see their interest in that government. We want to make sure in 100 days that the government is put together with an understanding that it's a government for the people. It's not government of French, it's not government of colonialism, it's a government that is going to serve the people. And so you must understand what the people need, and it's not going to be on friendship. I can tell you that. The whole matter of hiring people, look, our people in the diaspora, they have skills. We're not going to hire them simply because they're in the diaspora, but we also have to pay attention to the local talents. Let them work together. Some of them can learn from people, because job is not just having the skill, but also being able to have the discipline. Sometimes we be in the country and been too loose for too long. It's based on friendship, but people who come from out, they know what it means to have a job. So we're not going to flood the whole place with people from the diaspora, but we're also going to make sure that the high-skilled people who have been yearning to come back home to contribute can also make contribution. After all, that's what they came for, to learn. But we have to make sure we encourage our young people, our locally trained people who are being in the country struggling to work hand in hand. We have to make sure that everything is not in the hands of foreigners. Because as we can see now, they all are dollars. And the only people that will build Liberia will be Liberians. We have to know that. The other thing about security, we are all victims, I can tell you. We all know what is happening. Liberia was never like this. And you're not going to encourage people. You come and work for years, get all the resources here, and no friendship, no sympathy. After you work all the years to go back home to invest, you lose all. Your security is risk. So I can assure you, security will be a maximum concern. Our police will look like police. I tell the police when I spoke to them one time, I said, you have to remember that your bodies are not hunting license. You got to make them understand that they are there to serve, but you also have to take care of them. You have to take care of them, you have to make them look dignified. Because when a policeman stands and he looks well-bred, well-groomed, he's unlikely to go in the corner to do funny things. We have to make them look dignified. We have to make sure every district, even like Montserrat, every district, that there are people in there who can detect and resolve crime. People who can not just commit crime and are never being brought to justice. Justice system has to be very, very tough on criminals. And so I want to assure you that simply because we live there doesn't mean that we know it, we know what is happening. You cannot have a society that you encourage investors to come, you tell Liberians to come after many years of hard labor, they go back home just to be threatened. That has to be done away with. It will be gradual, but it will be definite that we have to do that.
Thank you. Former Vice President, there was a question from my brother back there. He said that we hired Madam Salif, who came from the Ministry of Finance. She became president. Chancellor came from GSA and became president. George Weah was senator and was elected president. And today things have not improved. Why should should we continue to hire people from within the system instead of bringing people from outside? That was the question, right?
Oh, well, you know very well that you need experience. I can tell you, you can have, you know, all the about economics and all of this. You're dealing with people. How do you translate that to the people? You're dealing with people who most of them are not educated. You have to work with them. They have to understand you. And our people are very, for example, I always say, Madam Sali will go to a superintendent and everybody will clap. Madam Sali, thank you for the superintendent, you're doing well. Just let the superintendent go in the bathroom and leave Madam Sali. Madam, when you're giving her a new superintendent. And the Liberian people, that's how they are. You got to know them. If you don't know them, you can't control them. And they want to see an honest leadership. Once you can set that bar and they know that you're serious, they'll cooperate. So let me assure you that this vice president had the orientation. I started in the rural area, worked in our country. I became the first Liberian managing director and minister of culture. I know the people. And these are areas that affect the entire country. So, yes, finance and all of these have come from a different side, and I come with a passion for the country.
Thank you. Steve, we're doing well. George, Steve, we're doing well. We're going to keep you at 30 seconds. 30 seconds and one question only. We're doing very good.
So before you ask your question, sure, we'll take 3 more from there, then we'll pause, and then we'll ask here, and then we'll go back to the line. Because we got questions from other people. We want to respect everybody, so we're giving you guys more time to ask the question. So let's proceed.
Thank you, George.
Good evening, Mr. Former Vice President. My name is Gordon Doe, a former clerk of the Liberian Judiciary. In recent time, we see the interference of the executive into the judiciary. When elected president, how will your administration address the independence of the Liberian judiciary and the issue of land reform?
Thank you. Your name?
Krayee, Mr. Vice President Former. My name is Nathaniel Johnson, and my passion is about corruption. You have made a commitment to fight corruption, and my question is, what will you do different in the fight of corruption?
Great question.
One more, the last one, and then we'll come back to the stage.
Greetings, Vice President. My name is Boakai. I am the former ALP National Chairman. I wanted to come today to show you a level of support and establish the fact that this is a multi-party unification. So we are fully behind you. My question to you is that throughout your experience and your experience with agriculture, how can you put those two things together in terms of your vice president's experience and your experience with agriculture to be able to feed the country and give us a better sense of stability? Because you already know, when people eat, they are fed.
Thank you. George, before we answer, let me assure the line behind here. We're not losing you. You're young. We can stand. We can wait. Let's go up there. His Excellency is going to answer. We'll ask 1 or 2 questions, and we'll revert to you. We have a plan, right? Please don't sit down. Keep your place in the line.
Thank you, the former Vice President. We'll answer the questions.
Let me start with the agriculture sector. I don't intend that the agriculture minister who feed the country. Our problem here is that you don't even have to be a farmer to do agriculture. What we don't have is technicians to work with the farmers. You have a piece of land. All you need is a technician that goes there and tells you, let me do your soil test. From there, they tell you what you can grow there. The next thing they will do is to tell you if you can plant cocoa, how do you clear the land. Most of the big farmers in this country, they are supported by technical people. You want to grow cattle, you need a veterinary doctor. What we don't have is technicians trained to work with farmers. I have seen farmers who write letters. One time, 127 of them. I saw my rice doing well, but immediately the leaves started turning yellow. They need somebody to go there. And we have had to talk. You can sit in Monrovia and make money. If there's a cattle ranch, and you buy a cow, put there, they brand the cows, somebody there to manage them properly. You sit in Monrovia, you got 20 cows there, you pay for them. Agriculture is doable, and we can really feed ourselves in that way. We can produce rice, but you need technicians. You need to remove politics from all these things and give the people a chance to work. That is how LPMC, a corporation, was able to manage a turnover of $50 million a year that helped the economy. Farmers were paid farm gate. We were able to pay for transportation. We were able to pay commission for buying. And Liberia cocoa and coffee were on the market. We produced palm kernel oil and exported it. All of these things are going down because everybody wants to bring things from up. You can create jobs by just bringing things from other countries. It is possible, it can work. Now you talk about the difference in fighting corruption. You know, in everything you do in life, you got to start with yourself. You can't make laws and move above the laws. You want, I can tell you, and I'm saying this in all honesty, when I worked at LPMC, my wife never borrowed a company car. I don't do it. Because I always say, if I'm the highest paid person, what about the small people down there? You got to start for yourself. You got to put your children, my children never got, I never employ my children. They compete for jobs. To compete for jobs. To create an honest society, you got to start with yourself. You can't have exemptions. And that's what we fail to do. You can help your friends personally, but when it comes to the nation, when the people stand in line there to vote for you, they are saying that we look up to you to speak for us. They are saying that our resources, you manage it for us, not for you. And that's what I believe in. And once you come our line, the people will follow. But when they see you bending, they will overtake you. They will overtake you. And you talk about interference. That is the problem in our country. That is the problem in our country. The executive control the legislature. As much as we deny, we know. You saw a justice, associate justice removed. Somebody was supposed to be there for that. When we begin to do that, we don't have bloodline. If you were in a country where the president of this country can remove anybody, you're not secure. Justice cannot be. And that's the line we have to draw. We can talk about it, but we have to live it. You have to make sure that you draw those lines, that the judiciary will work independently, that the legislatures will serve their people. When people elect those people, they elected them to represent them. But we are in trouble. We do not have an independent legislature. And we are not even sure whether, I mean, you can follow all the cases. And it put the country in danger. The investors will not trust that country. Nobody can trust a country in which there is not separation of power. And if you want to have a country, there must be that separation of power. You got to deny yourself that authority to preside over all of them. If you don't do it, then you don't want a country. That's all.
Thank you. So, former Vice President Boakai, we're back to the podium, Stephen and I. Now we'll ask you questions from here before we go back. So the next question that someone sent to us here, and I want to ask you, is very simple. You've worked in public service with no allegations of corruption. Today, the country is being ruined. Many people get to government 2-3 months. They are now owning mansions. Apart from that, more Liberians now live in abject poverty than 3-4 years ago. If elected President of the Republic of Liberia, what will be your first and foremost priority in addressing the issue of making sure that those who stole public funds are brought to book and that you as the leader can move forward from there?
I'm sure those of you who've been with me, those of you who've been with me recently, the word is that so help me God. We have to deal with that. You can't have a country where people will steal people's money and then just use it and then the society suffer. I tell you what, I have experience. When I worked for LPMC in Lofa, we gave vacation jobs to students. And for fear that they were not employed on the basis of qualification, we're just helping them. I will say we'll take 100 students in a vacation job. How am I going to do it without people saying, oh, your cousin there, your nephew, and so I made lucky tickets. 100 tickets, I put their job. I had 50, I put no job, and I put them on. You put your hand in the basket, you take job, you get job. And that's the thing I made incorporated. The World Bank is using it now. Because I didn't want people to say that it's calling, because people have you always have to start with yourself. If we don't do that, a lot of people will continue to suffer. And I can tell you, corruption is nothing that I can compromise. I don't care who it is. We have to do it. If we don't do it, our country will never move. So, for me, I'm telling you, Liberia, we can't just talk about it, we should do it. We should be determined to do it. And we pay a dividend. By the time you do it, for a spell of time, you will see the country will be falling into place. The good people will work. The bad people, they will leave. But the country will survive and provide opportunity for everybody. Corruption has to be dealt with.
Thank you very much. There is another question that came from somebody. It says, former President William R. Thomas said, if Liberia is to be preserved, if she is to bask in the sunshine of national prosperity and always be able to dictate her own policies, the widening spectrum of ignorance in the country must be uprooted. A premium must be placed on education, for it alone promises national salvation, unquote. Mr. Former Vice President, what do you intend to do with our educational sector? Yes.
Well, you see, some of the reasons that I was talking about road number 1, road number 2, road number 3, if we have to educate our people, our young people, we must have access to them. You go into a typical village where you have a school building, and you have two teachers, and one of them leave and go to Monrovia. Who stays? I believe, from where I come from, we decided to work on amalgamation of towns. There are towns that are not towns, 10 hubs, 15 hubs. And I have it written down that all these small towns, if you brought them together, you give access to land, you make sure that those who can have electricity, they can have water, they can have opportunities. But these small, and that's part of our education program, because in education, if you leave us 10 people, 10 illiterate people, we can create problems. We have to be serious with education. It's not just talking about it, it's not just calling it name, but to know that each and every child in our country, you know, during our administration, you went to school, I went to Tony, and I went to one of the schools. The majority of the students were girls in the classes. We have to encourage our young ladies because they commit themselves to the children. I always say, the man will say, do DNA. The women don't do DNA to prove that they're children. And their children, they want to see the good of them. We cannot play with education and expect our country to develop. There's no way. I can tell you, definitely, I have said, I've written down Operation Clean Classroom. Start with the classroom. Make the place conducive enough for the people. And it doesn't matter whether the child is from a poor family or what. All of us came from there. If we didn't have that opportunity, we wouldn't have been here today. So we have to give our children quality education that will make them proud, make them free. Start exploiting either the young ladies, make sure that they learn so they too can contribute. That's what I believe.
Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, we'll say JMD. I know you like us, usually friendly. We've asked those in the back that if they have any related questions that have been answered, we want to hear some new questions, I believe. So the next three gentlemen have promised us new questions that we haven't heard. Your name, sir, and you're next.
Good evening, Your Excellency, JMB. My name is Anthony Gay. Your name, Joseph Juwan Boakai, is synonymous to integrity, moral value, and family values. Every time that they come about, that's what we see. And even when you speak, that's what we hear. But it bothered me as a young man, as a millennial, that the face of your campaign today is a person who speaks in a way that some of us are not comfortable with. However, in 2017, he spoke of you in a very derogatory manner, and we didn't feel comfortable about it. This same gentleman today is the face of your campaign, is insulting President Huya, is insulting Mr. Alexander Benedict Commission. Why do you stand? Because I know you are a man of integrity.
Thank you for your question. The next question, please. Listen, let's have your attention, please. Excuse me in the back. We gotta go on. Can I please have your attention? You're holding us up. We have to keep it quiet. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with the next two gentlemen, I will take the next George and Steve, then we'll take the next three ladies. So ladies, you're not gonna stand, you just gotta roll up. I'm gonna make it sweet and short. And thanks for your last question.
Good evening, Honorable Joseph Nima Boakai. Pleasure is mine to say sincerely I'm Dolomite. And my question has twofold. I wrote the article, I don't know if you had the time to read it, called The Forensic File of Honorable Joseph Nima Boakai. I wrote it. And I made mention 2 words in there, that you are character and Liberia, L-I-B-R-R-E-D. Somebody asked me, what is the meaning of the word? I said, a wordsmith. So I don't owe you an explanation. But my question is, in recent times, there are something called stone catcher. There are a lot of stones that are being thrown at you, and a lot of stones will be thrown at you. How prepared are you to catch these stones? 2?
One question. We want to give every single person here.
Just reminding the brother we are forgiven, right?
Thank you.
Is that a part B or? Okay, go. Next for 10 seconds.
What about Mr. Boakai? We in Liberia are complacent with everything they call little thing. What is that little thing you have to promise us tonight that we can be comfortable with? We're not thinking about the big one. The small thing you have today can promise us that we'll be comfortable with the vote for you. Thank you.
The stone question and the little thing. That's the first question. The next gentleman, the ladies go with it. We're taking the next 2, then you're next. You have 1 question, 30 seconds. Or you want me to get the copy? Okay. You'll come next, I'll get your copy. 1 second.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Boakai, my name is Boakai Townhall, and I have a question for you, sir. I wrote my question, it's on your desk there, and I want you to take it away. My question here, 1, what is the agenda of the Unity Party? What is the vision that we're working on tonight? Second, there is no really address for Liberia. What are you going to do for us to have many address?
Thank you very much. The vision and the mailing address. The last question from a male, and then the next 3 from this side will be the 3 females. Go ahead, my brother. The question, 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening, Honorable Joseph Nima Boakai from SVP. Knowing that in Liberia, nobody by themselves has won the election, 50+1 vote. And it was a good thing you guys came together and formed the CPP. As a current chairman of the CPP, with the dispute going on or the misunderstanding, what are you doing right now to put those guys, the leaders, including you, together? And if you are actually doing something to make the CPP work, are you ready to conform to go for the primary?
Thank you. Those are the 3, George and Steve. Take it from here.
Thank you. The former Vice President will answer.
George, my ladies are next. The next 3 ladies. Okay, Steve?
Let's understand Liberia is a small country. We are almost all interrelated. When you take leadership for everybody. Your problem is to unite the people. And so, whether this person is this person on the other side, I believe in us working. We all went to the same school. Part of the reason I see people talking about tribe, this thing, is some people have complex. You have to understand Liberians, we all lay together, we work together. I want to make sure that we put a system in place where we can unite our people, forget about individual differences, and make sure that Liberia is built in unity. In fact, that's what our party is about. I don't have time to think about whether you come from this place or that place and other. Liberia is for all. Now, stone thrown at me
Let me tell you, if I were not conscious of that, if I were not willing to do that, I wouldn't be here today. I mean, for leadership, you gotta understand that look, everybody will not like you, but everybody will not hate you either. And some people don't like you because you obstruct something that they are interested in. That's human. All you have to tell them is that you believe in a system that serves everybody. And that's what I believe. And I can tell you, a lot of the people, when they get to know you and they believe you, they get to like you. And the other thing about what do I have is my character. You know, you can leave your house, your car, your money, and go anywhere. Your character goes with you. And that's what I have. And so, that character is not what builds the nation, build family, because people see you, they don't see your money, they don't see your wealth, they see your character. And that character is what we want to build in our country, so that people know that they will not respect them because they have big name or they have money, but they can trust them. And that's what I bring to the table. Coming on the agenda of the UP, we had a platform before. We are in collaboration. So, you know, in Liberia, everybody tell you they will do the same thing. The thing about doing the same thing is whether you know what to do. There are a lot of people who promise you, they don't know what to do with it. They are not in touch with the issues. But I can tell you, Unity Party, the vision is still one nation, one people, one destiny. We want to work to make sure that our country is a country with the same destiny for everybody. Make sure that with your talents, with what you do with them, you can rise to any position. That's what I believe. When you're talking about mailing address, I don't know, mailing address for what? For the Unity Party or for what? The CPP, I told you already, is an organization that was intended to come together to free our people, to give the Liberian people authority. The Liberian people have shown that they believe in us, and we have to make sure that we show them that we are grateful to move this country forward. We cannot keep dividing, fighting. The Liberians want to lead, and that's what we promised to give them.
Thank you very much. I have been informed because of time, and I promise our next three ladies, and in all we will have at least 6 or 7 more questions, including the 3 ladies first. Your name, madam, and your question. 30 seconds. One question, please.
My name is Amy Writer. Hi, Honorable Walker. I'm here today, I stand here today because of Costa. I stand here to ask the Liberian men, I stand as a woman, and I represent every woman in this hall. When are you people going to stand for us? Children are dying, women are dying every day. We're waiting for 2023. Safety is now. Safety is not tomorrow. We want to know how safe can we be with the women of Liberia. We're not waiting for Honorable Boakai to be president. We want it now. We want the base to stand, fight for us, fight for the women and children of Liberia. I want to see 100-man march down Monrovia, fighting for our safety. We travel in December to go to Liberia. How safe are we? We cannot wait for 2023. We need protection now.
Give a round of applause for that question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve, George. The next lady, please. Your name and the question.
Thank you so much. My name is Adolphe Kanya, former female
president of the Grand Jury Association. My question to you, Honorable, is the road constructions. What strategy are you putting in place for some of us that who live in Monrovia or live in Grand Jury? How can we transport our businesses there when the roads are so bad? I need a strategy in writing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Former President. Our next lady, her name and your question, please.
Good evening, my name is Sarah Taylor. I stand here today representing members original members of the United Party who are not here tonight because they feel they have been sidelined. My question to you, sir, what will you do to reunite the members who started with this party from the grassroots, upon whose shoulders our forebears stood? And the United Party is what it is today because of that. So what will you do to bring us back into the fold?
Excellent question. George, Steve?
One more, just say one more, then we'll go back to the end.
Okay, great. You're the lucky one, my brother. What is your name and your question? 30 seconds.
Good evening, Ambassador Boakai. My name is Douglas. I'm from Penn State University. My question is a little bit complex and different from a lot of people's questions here. And my question is a question of purpose, intent, and vision. It is simple, but it's meaningful. That is, what is your definition of a leader? And is there differences between a leader and a president? If so, why? If not, why? Thank you.
Good question. George, His Excellency, please.
I have a simple definition for a leader. A leader is one who removes obstacles. If you don't give somebody a typewriter and tell them to type, the obstacle is the typewriter. If you don't give people education, you don't expect them to perform. You remove obstacles. And that's what leaders are supposed to do, not together. And that's what I believe in leadership. A leader that remove obstacles, a leader that lead by example so that people can follow. Now you talk about this Kaloma. You know very well when Jabaru was here, I was one of those who arranged for him to go back to Liberia to serve because they are the founding members. If you forget people who are founding members, they forget about you too when you leave. So we are working, and I will appreciate for those of you, people like Peter Bonajala, people like some of the elders, they come, we have honored most of them, and I would like for us to have an occasion where we honor those people who are founding members because they were the ones who brought unity back. And I appreciate this question because I want tomorrow for all persons who have worked hard for the party to be remembered. So thank you very much for that question. And we have decided that we will look around for those people who have served the party, who have come to the leadership of the party, and even those who have contributed for us to make sure that we bring them on board to guide us. So I promise we're going to do that. The other one is about roads. Without roads, if you see the high price of food on the market, that they leave us areas, that's because of roads. Because something that is $10 in Monrovia end up being $30 because of road. That's why, even all the way back, I said road number 1, road number 2, road number 3. If you don't open up the country, you won't see the resources of the country. The foreigners can go in there because nobody's there to see them. Roads, we must. This country is what it is because it is open. And I believe in that. So I do agree with you. Take for example, Tapeta Hospital is a referral hospital. But people don't go there because there are no roads. I had said that for the first 100 days, no car will be stopped in the morning. And that's because we make sure that we open the road for example, I give a ferry to the people in Riverside. That ferry is helping to move pregnant women, place where they're supposed to go for 25 minutes, they are doing it in 2.5 minutes. That's what mobility does. It creates opportunities for people to move, to keep healthy, to do business. So we cannot overlook that. Thank you.
Ambassador White, you still have the microphone. I have sampled a few of the folks online. This death row issue is becoming a burning issue for our people. The recent murder of Talbot, Tubman, so on and so forth. Journalists, auditors. You'd be surprised when I ask the three online, the very gentleman there is going to echo the concern. It's beginning to seem as it's burning and burning. You bear with me while he asks the question. The gentleman that's about to speak lost his brother on Monday.
So before you speak, I want the former Vice President to be very clear. There was a young man from Penn State who asked the difference between a leader and a president.
Correct.
We want to make sure we don't leave from here today with any unanswered question.
So George, you go first on the difference.
You will.
Then we go to
the leader. Right. So let me just talk about the president. Correct. He said the leader is one who removes obstacles. Right. So what is the difference with the president? That's all. So we must answer all the questions.
Then you refer to me, right?
The presidency is an office. The performance, the playing of the role of that presidency in the true sense is what leaders are about. We have had a lot of people who are rulers. Leaders help people to grow. They remove obstacles. So presidency is a title. Leadership is an act for people who want to achieve and who want people to succeed.
And while you were at it, the lady from Graduate Association,
one lady said,
on roads.
One lady said something about
strategy for road.
One lady said something just about what are we doing for the women right now. But you know very well, when COP was there demonstrating, people didn't pay attention. The NDI did a survey, and the people said the only thing that they would demonstrate for, the thing that they touch their lives personally. We live in a country where there's no way to hold the government hostage. I told the people in Lofa, they have a legislature who is not civic. In some countries, they will say, we will not pay taxes. Well, our country doesn't depend on their taxes. They don't care because they're not much to be achieved, so they don't care. Then you say you bribe the officer, you bribe them, they will say thank you. We stay home. We have to run a country that has the way of holding leaders responsible and accountable. And that is, you enfranchise people when you don't make them be part of the economy, they don't pay taxes. So there's no way. we have to make sure you talk. When you talk, they say you're a politician. What we lack in our country is a trustworthy civil society, a conscious civil society, a civil society that believes in this country. They are the only ones that can make things happen. They are the ones who will say, if we don't do this, we're not going to go this way. But unfortunately, people are compromised because of hardship. And that's what holding the people hostage. We need a strong civil society.
The strategy for the road to Krayee, the road. Any view on that? That was my sister's.
If there's anything about road to Krayee, I think the result should be in the mansion right now. Because that's where the answer is. We're there where we have the Bible medicine. We have it there.
Thank you very much. That's the strategy for the road. The brother here had a question. George is back with me.
Mr. Vice President, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
I can still remember you on the poster for John Tama. You remember what I mean? Yeah, thank you. But you know, I always ask the question from 1980 to now, 2021, 41 years ago, said we had a coup in Liberia. But nothing shocked me Monday when I was sleeping and I got all the calls from Liberia telling me my brother had been killed. This is somebody he and myself we speak most of the time when he comes to America. Even when I'm in Liberia, I'm on my farm, he knows where to come on my farm to see me. If you are president, as we speak right now, because as of now we have not heard the president of the Republic of Liberia say anything yet. If you were president, what will you do as we speak right now? Thank you.
The first thing is that there are supposed to be systems in place that will stop these kind of things from happening. Whether it was not just anybody. And I tell you, I saw him about 2 months ago when I spoke at a council of churches. This was a man who would not even hurt a fly. I saw today that there's $15,000 for anybody who can come up with something, some clue. It is not that it has happened. It is that we can stop these things from happening. And if it happened to Bill, it can happen to anybody. So immediately when it happened, we thought the story was that he came from church, he preached, and went to bed. Until I talked to Joe Talbot, and he showed me that gruesome photo. These kind of things are not to be happening in our country. And I think this is where leadership come about. Because it can happen to Bill, it can happen to anybody. I asked my supervisor, Bill was a very special friend of mine. We met often with the Baptists together. I know how you feel, but all of us feel the same because he was one of us. So we want to see what will happen. But I can tell you our country is lying in a ship.
Mr. Ambassador, I want to ask you a question myself. If you were to be president tomorrow, and we're all hoping that happens, character, integrity, how often will you address the nation?
Well, I think leaders are supposed to keep their people informed. They are supposed to keep their people informed, whether for good or for bad. because not everybody always has the opportunity to see you, but to keep them posted. And I think as often as possible, leaders are supposed to keep their people informed. And you can't just be silent on everything. In fact, the role you play is to make sure you provide, you give the people confidence, you give the people hope, and assure them that you are there for them. And that's what they need to hear from you. So I promise, as often as necessary.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I understand we have about 13 of us on the line. Someone to come up from the other side. We have, I believe, one of the tailors from ANC. Come on, please. And I'm being random. I just want to make sure we don't leave here with anyone saying, oh, we didn't ask questions. No one from the other side. My brother, a question in 30 seconds. Tell us your connection to ANC, your question, so I didn't make the wrong decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Moderator. Welcome, Mr. PP. My name is Kishen. I want to say thanks for your service. And I have a question. You know, in the CPP, we all want peace within the CPP. But there are a lot of things on social media, people have been saying that Mr. Cummings is a criminal. I heard it from Lobo, I heard it from Henry Costa, he's a criminal. And in your interview yesterday, you said that you know Mr. Cummings very well, you interact, he visited you so many times. Can you tell this audience if Mr. Cummings is a criminal?
Thank you. I think while you're standing, Excellency, George, let him answer that, then we can go to the next one. That was a question of preference from the other side. Your Excellency?
Somebody criminal, unless you're proving a criminal record. And so I have never called Cummings a criminal. And in a relationship, I don't use those kind of words. They know I don't do that. Even in my house, and children, we do not call people criminals because we don't like them. We can differ in opinion, we can do something, but only when we go through legal scrutiny, through people who identify criminals and call it criminal. If somebody has done it, let me apologize. But I think what we to do, all of us, to create a decent society. You know, once you spoil somebody's record, I told the people about a story about a father who told the son, every time you get angry, put a nail in a stick. One day he put 37 nails. At the time you look, the stick was filled. Then he came to himself and said, I'm going to be a nice person now. So every time he decided to be nice, he took out one nail until all the nails were gone. And the father said, look at the board. You see the scars you left on the board? That's what we do when we call names. That's what we do when we hurt people. We leave scars. And I'm not in that game.
Thank you very much for that question. The last two questions. And bear with me, please, my brother, your name and your question.
My name is Nathaniel. My question has to do with...
But let me just say, this thing, it should be on both sides. Some people believe that when the Bible says, do unto others that you have them do unto you, it's not one-sided. We will advise that in all of our dealings, that the other people just don't call other people names. So it's not one-sided.
Fair enough, Your Excellency. Fair enough. Another question?
Ambassador Boakai, Nigeria, it would take 1 lakh and sell it to 10 people. And these people will be going here, going to court, going this, like those are selling them will be sitting with impunity. What will your administration do to stop this corrupted attitude in Liberia?
The land issue. But you know, everything they call a criminal complaints is there. What you need is the implementation. In our law, they say even the surveyor can be a criminal. But you see, we make laws, but just making the laws not enough. We should be able to enforce those people are apprehended, and that's what we'll do.
I say George and Steve, this is getting very interesting. If we just hold the pace at which we're going, we can run through some questions real quick. Buy me some time, please. My dear brother, your name and the question.
I want to ask you this question, Mr. Former Vice President. Liberia is bleeding. The nation Liberia is crying. The song, when you enter in a village, the song you hear the children singing is the news in that town. What will settle the problem of Liberia is the implementation of the War and Economic Crime Code and also the TRC. In your 100 days, will you assure us as Liberians, if God allows you to ascend the seat of the presidency, to implement the TRC and also the War and Economic Crime Code?
Thank you. Your Excellency, yes. We'll just go one and one and one and one. We'll run through. Yes.
For the 100 days, but I can tell you, and I said, so help me God, we have to do it. We have to do it.
Thank you. Real quick, my brother. Why the Vice President still standing?
My name is Durant P. Willie. I hail from Lofa County. I got a question, Honorable. We know you love peace, but if the peace is not holding, this is what I'm bringing the confusion. Somebody just came here and tried to accuse some people. If the peace is not holding, other people are going around in contests, running campaign, and accusing other United Party members. What will you do if the peace is not holding? If you marry a woman and the relationship can hold, what next? Divorce.
Thank you. I think that was a comment. The last question, that was a comment, not an advice, not a question. Your Excellency, one question. You're not going to be the last caller, your name and the question.
One second. That is going to be our last question. I'm very sorry. His Excellency, the former Vice President, have done way more than any normal politician will do in terms of answering questions. We have to be honest. He has proven, he has given us over to the last question. Go ahead. That's the last question. Go for that.
Hold on a second.
Your Excellency, my name is Lawrence Pan. I do support you. If you look at the places of all Liberians over here, you see that the votes are dashed. So the question to me here is...
All right, then Max, listen to what I'm saying. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. You got 10 seconds to ask a question. Our Excellency has been standing. We're not going to go too long. Make it a quick question, and you will give us a quick response. Real quick. 10 seconds. That's the question.
The question is, how will you restore the hopes of the ordinary people as it relates to their safety and happiness?
Restoring the hope of the ordinary people and protect their votes.
And I said, the ordinary people are the people who stand to carry their vote. They have to be respected. You have to make sure that the laws of the country protect them. that also they are seeing part and parcel of the development agenda. Ordinary people, all of us are ordinary people. We have to respect them. We have to make sure that the temple riders and the wheelbarrow boys and girls, that all of them are given an opportunity to improve their lives. That's the way we will do it.
While His Excellency is still standing, if you ask a question that has been asked, I will just go to the next person. 10 seconds, please.
Thank you. My name is Morrison K. Moyala. My question is, Liberia is so rich in natural resources, yet the people are suffering. I do believe that the virus that is involving that nation is corruption. People do think and go with impunity. As an incoming president, what do you intend to take as a punitive measure in order to eradicate corruption? Thank you.
How do you intend to eradicate? What specific measure to eradicate corruption, Your Excellency?
Corruption should be dealt with. People who are corrupt, they should be placed where they belong after proven guilty. That's how we deal.
Again, real my brother George, bear with me, please. Steve, the pundits, please keep standing, sir. We admire you. Let's get more questions in. Can we please do that? Right, sir? Thank you. Real quick.
Pastor Charles Aku, former Vice President Joseph Boakai. My question to you is, can Liberia have a better Liberia for all the fear of God?
Can Liberia have a better Liberia without the fear of God?
Oh, the Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. I am a Christian and I believe that the fear of God is first and foremost. Without the fear of God, you cannot have trustworthy leadership.
Ambassador, thank you. The very last person, excuse me, the very last person to ask tonight is Mr. Uri. He's been in Philadelphia for over 35 years. Mr. Uri, let's get you as the last question.
Mr. Boakai, I just want to ask, concerning the companies that come to Liberia and pollute our institution, what will you do towards the corporate responsibility of each company that come and pollute our interior, the water? Water is life, and our people live there. What will you put in place? Mechanism will you put in place to hold these people responsible of our land?
Thank you. And that was the last question. What can be done with the pollution of the water and companies that are polluting the interior parts of our country? Thank you.
Nobody, and I said nobody. The first thing, let me let you know that we are going to have a policy where our minerals, that any corporation that comes to invest in the minerals, that a percentage of it will be given to Liberians to buy shares so that they're not just waiting for royalty. And social corporate responsibilities are the benefit to the people. We have to make sure that our people are guaranteed that their roads will be built, and they will have hospitals, and their children will go to decent school. Because after that, that's the only thing they can benefit from. We have to make sure of that.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? George, Ambassador, please. Your Excellency. Your Excellency. We thank you very much, sir. And we will please be seated, sir.
Let's go. Let's keep it going. Just keep asking. I'm at the back of the line. Let's go. I will be the last. Let's go.
You will be the last? Excellent. It's for 10 seconds. Real quick.
Mr. Former Vice President, my name is Ashford Watkins. My question has to do with the petroleum sector. NOCAR in the past invested a lot of resources in building capacity when it comes to the oil and gas sector. And we know that NOCAR was redundant. Most of the people now were redundant or laid off and they're passing around. So some of us were more beneficial of the scholarship to invest to manage the Liberia petroleum sector. What is your plan to be able to capture all of these capacities that are not either in America, in Europe, or in Liberia to help manage Liberia petroleum resources?
The question is the management of the Liberian petroleum resources. Steve, the management of the Liberian petroleum resources.
Well, let's understand now, NOCAR is one entity. There are many corporations that people have worked for, they have not benefited. So when you make a policy decision, it should be able to benefit all of those that are affected, including the car. So those are the issues that we have to look at.
Thank you, sir. Your statement?
Hello, everybody. This is Thomas J. Moderator, a Liberian power chief in the United States of America. I'm here to say I'm happy to see all my children here, including you. I'm here to represent our Liberians so they will see how to develop Liberia again. Because Liberia being the first state in the United States of Africa, now have been the last state of poor. And we are here to develop our country, Liberia, by means of getting roads, Mahun Tapeta is in the bush. Mahun Tapeta is in the bush. Nigeria is behind the land. And we are here to develop Liberia for all of you. Thank you. God bless you.
Those are words of encouragement. We set the line, Ambassador. We got about 5, 6 more. Go ahead, my brother, your name and your question.
We even Mr. Former Vice President. My name is Frederick Sele. One question to you, Mr. Vice President, I would have resonated. My question has to do with female genital mutilation, which I have not heard anybody talking about. But we understand that in Liberia, out of the 16 tribes, 10 tribes in Liberia are practicing female genital mutilation, which is on the increase and on the rise in Liberia. The Boakai administration, what will you do to curtail female mutilation in the society as far as the president?
Great question. Female mutilation. Thank you.
Let me say, this is a very sensitive subject matter. One of the things that people have missed is that people overlook our culture. I believe that when you see a situation, first understand it, why the people do it, how can they improve. You don't just discard something because you don't know, you don't understand it. And I think we haven't given it time to find out why our people did it. In my tradition, I'm not even supposed to be discussed. But I think we have to educate people on why people did it and how they can best do it or how they can avoid doing it. We have to understand it. Don't just let the foreigners tell us we should be proactive in educating them. I think that's what we need.
Thank you. Your name and your question real quick.
My name is Mr. Kensley. I'm the Vice President. My question is, you served as Vice President to Madam Ellen Jerusalem for 12 good years. And during those years, if ever there was an impasse between you and Madam Shali, the Nigerian people did not know until you raised your finger to contest the presidency. Then we got to know that there was an impasse between you and Madam Shali. Now the current government, there is also no understanding between the president and the vice president. What will you do so you become a president tomorrow that you and your running mate, or whoever you will select, will have that cordiality between you so that the Liberian people will be, led in a proper way? Thank you.
The Bible says that they agree. So it is the responsibility of people who work together to agree. If you don't work, you don't agree, how do you work together?
Excellent response. Excellency.
My name is Brandon Sherman. That nation was the only shining star on the deck of that continent of Africa, where people came from all walks of life to tap on the resources, especially the US dollar. They returned and built their nations. But today, Liberia is in darkness. Liberia has gone in darkness, and Liberia is considered to have lost its status in the Committee of Nations. What are the problems that got Liberia like this?
You know, everywhere people look for leadership.
Excuse me. You are asking questions and you want answers. We can. If you want to lead from here without, then you're not getting. So you ask the question we need to require so you can answer the question. The man with the cap is the last man where Jake is standing, and that's it.
It is not that everybody in Liberia, if they see somebody that they believe in, somebody with integrity, with character, I can tell you in about 2 or 3 years, Liberia will be a different country, and I believe.
Next question.
My name is Patrick. My question is to the Honorable Mayor, the incoming president. Since I know myself in Nigeria, I know there's corruption, why is it that there's no big person, no government official on trial or in jail after saving your life? Why?
No government official in jail for corruption. What would the Boakai administration do different in putting people in jail, prosecuting people?
That's what we're talking about, leadership and honest leadership. You know, most people say, big government didn't do this, big government didn't do this. That's why you came. So you have to demonstrate that you stand for principle, and that's why you don't see people in jail because, corruption comes from the head. Yeah, so that's what it is.
Last question. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for your service that you gave to our country. And also, I want to say thanks for allowing us the opportunity to engage and listen to your vision. I served for 12 consecutive years. We had the oversight of the Liberian Senate, under which we saw the Liberian Rights Project collapse. And Lupin. And in your words, opportunities were squandered. Why should we again entrust you with leadership
and we watch corruption, mysterious deaths, and poor leadership occurred under the Ellis administration. And we also now see you with criminal Bernard Uri, who was very instrumental in the Child Status administration, telling us that we should go back and give you power so that we can transform our country. Why?
Very good question. You have to understand the role of the vice president. That's why some people have made remarks and it's wanting them. If you read our Constitution, the vice president presides over the Senate without a vote, except at the time. The second role, the vice president assists the president. The vice president cannot compete with the president. The vice president policy is not the one to implement. You hear they say that we have government. They don't say they still have government. And that's why I said, you want to see what I can do, give me the chance. And that's what I'm telling you.
I want to say thank you. We'll move to full of thanks, which will be done by the chief of staff, Mr. Jay Karate.
Thank you.
Hold on.
George, shall we put a vote of thanks?
No, before the vote of thanks, Shehu will have to speak. We'll go back to the MC, I'm sorry. Give it back to her. Hold on before the MC, let me say
Hold on. Can we just back up a little bit? Is there any better? Can we please be seated?
Please be seated.
Can we please be seated?
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have our seat now so we complete the program. The former vice president will not be like this. So please, one second. So please have your seat, let's complete this program and we leave. Before I turn the mic over to you, I want to say to the former vice president, thank you very much for your passion for your country. He has demonstrated today with no doubt. Those who keep doubting have seen and now they know. He has proven that he's physically fit. He is ready to be president on day one. He can stand up and answer a question. He has answered a question more than any Liberian politician I've seen in recent days. He has crossed the T's. He has done it out. And on the basis of that, take away and see how much they thanks to all of you for that question. Go ahead, Baba.
Thank you very much. Please have your seats. I am one who likes to...
We are asking again to please sit down right here, the sister. She has the most important part of the program. She has an announcement for all of us. Please have your seats. Excuse me, patronesses. Ladies, please have your seat, guys. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to our former vice president. I know a lot of people say he had an opportunity to do it, but I will call it political notice again because he said he could not compete with it. But exercise patience. Listen, we going to schools want to, whatever they have, what they say they want to get the money. So for all those who have something to give, brother Erasmus. So he will be in the back. All those who have something to give, just turn over to Erasmus. So now we have remarks. We will now start with remarks by the president of ULA, the national president, Krayee Kamara.
Mr. Ambassador, former president of UNA, the Honorable earlier on I saw Chairman Krayee, and I also saw Chairman Jackson here earlier. Honorable Chairperson here, all of you officials present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, community scholars. Mr. Vice President, Ambassador Boakai. Well, there's a lot of distractions. But I just want to say that from the onset, we will remain non-partisan, but we will be very, very attentive to all political dialogue that has to do with our country. Because those of us who know the history of ULA, we know that ULA was founded on advocacy and the breath of air that we believe today, that we can have one individual go to the poll and elect their officials, ULA serve for those crises. So we are very happy that in the next 2 years, as we go to elections, we want to make sure that these kinds of dialogue will continue to happen. Voters will be educated so that when the results come, everybody will not resort to the violence. It's kind of chaotic. I cannot continue to talk this, so I will put my remark on. Thank you for listening to me, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, we have the honor to call on the chairman of the Unity Party Canada, the Honorable Papa Doyen.
Chairman Doyen, are you in the building? Chairman Doyen, are you in the building? Okay, then let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay, so we have volunteers by the Chief of Staff of the former Vice President, Honorable Jim.
Philadelphia, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you for having us. Thank you to this church. Thank you to the pastor. Thank you to all of the organizers. Those of you who participated, we say thank you. We love you. We honor you. Thank you for giving respect to our Vice President. And we'll see you another time. Goodbye. Thank you.
Amen. Can we all rise? Can we all rise? And everyone know we started with God and our God will go with us. Amen. We have a wonderful meeting. Can we bow and pray? Unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we think or ask, according to the power that worketh in us. Lord, go with us in honor. Now we need your presence in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Thank you. Security take over. Security take over, ladies and gentlemen. Security. Let's go. There you have it. You heard from him today. Gentlemen, did I give a phone to anybody? Gentlemen on phones. Anybody have a phone? Gentlemen